Welcome back to another session of the TAE certification series. In today's session, we will go through section 5.3, logging of the TAS and the SUT. So our today's topic is the logging of the TAS and the SUT. Logging is our trusty detective, keeping tabs on both the TAS and the SUT to uncover potential mysteries. So let's have a look what's included. So logging is very important in the TAS, including logging for both the test automation itself and the SUT. Test logs are a source that frequently are used to analyze potential problems. In the next section are examples of test logging categorized by TAS or SUT. So let's have a look. Let's first have a look at what TAS logging should include. The first point it should include is which test case is currently under execution, including start and end time. Now, this means that the log should tell you which specific test is being run. It's like giving a name or ID to the test case so that when you look at the log, you know exactly what test is being discussed. The log should also record when the test case started and when it finished. This is important because it helps you track how long the test took to run. And if a test case takes very long time, it might indicate a problem that needs attention. The second point it should include is the status of the test case execution, because while failures can easily be identified in log files, the framework itself should also have this information and should report via a dashboard. The execution status of the test case can be pass, fail, or TAS error. The result of TAS error is used for situations where the problem is not in the SUT. Okay, so it's important to not only identify these outcomes, but also to have a dashboard, which can be a kind of a summary or a visual display that shows the status of all of these test cases. This helps testers and other team members see that which test passed, which failed, and where there might be issues with the testing system, and that's what is referred as TAS error in this point. And by having all this information, it's easier to take action to fix problems and improve the testing process. The next one is details of the test log at a high level, logging significant steps including timing information. Having this high level information in the test log helps people understand what the test did, when it did it, and if there were any delays or issues in the process. It's like keeping track of the most important parts of the test. Then we have dynamic information about the SUT, for example, memory leaks that the test case was able to identify with the help of third-party tools. Actual results and failures of these dynamic measurements should be logged with the test case that was executing when the incident was detected. Okay, so first let's see what is dynamic information. This is the information that changes or moves while the test is running. For example, it could be details like how much computer memory is being used. And to figure out this dynamic information, the test case might need some special tools. These tools are like extra helpers that provide extra data about the SUT. And as the test runs, it checks if everything is working correctly or not. And if something goes wrong, let's say like a memory leak, that's considered a failure. But it's not just about saying that there is a problem. The test needs to record exactly what happened when things went wrong. All this information, what went wrong, when it happened, and any other details needs to be written down in the test case log. This is like keeping a record of what the test found. In the case of reliability testing or stress testing where numerous cycles are performed, a counter should be logged so it can be easily determined how many times test cases have been executed. Okay, so in reliability or stress testing where you repeatedly run tests, it's like keeping a score. You want to know that how many times these tests have been done. So you use a counter, which is like a number that goes up each time a test is run. This counter helps you easily see how many test cycles you have completed. It's like keeping track of how many laps you have done in a race, and it's essential for figuring out how well a system can handle continuous or extreme testing conditions. Okay, so the next point what TAS logging should include is when test cases have random parts. For example, random parameters or random steps in state machine testing, the random number or choices should be logged. Okay, so let's say that you are testing a video streaming service and your test case involves selecting a random video to play from a list. So here is how you can log the random choices. So let's say you have this scenario, random video playback, and the first step would be open the video streaming app. Then the next step would be navigate to the recommended video section. Step 3, randomly select a video to play, and step 4, play the selected video. Now, when you log this test case, you would include the details of the random choice in your log like this. Test step 3, randomly select a video to play and randomly chosen video, let's say movie 123. So by logging this specific video that was randomly chosen, you have a record of the input for that test case. If there are issues with video playback, this log will actually help you to reproduce the exact scenario and investigate if there are any potential problems. Continuing with TAS logging, the next point is all actions a test case performs should be logged in such a way that the log file or parts of it can be played back to re-execute the test with exactly the same steps and the same timing. This is useful to check for the reproducibility of an identified failure and to capture additional information. The test case action information could also be logged on the SUT itself for use when reproducing customer identified issues. The customer runs the scenario, the log information is captured and can then be replayed by the development team when troubleshooting the issue. Okay, so think of it this way, that when you are testing a software, every action you take should be recorded in a log. This log is like a play-by-play of what you did, including the exact steps and timing. Now, why is this important? Well, it's like having a video replay in sports. If something goes wrong, you want to be able to go back and see exactly what happened. So if there is a problem or failure, you can check the log to recreate the same conditions and figure out what went wrong. But it's not just about fixing issues. Sometimes customers run into problems and you want to help them out. So you can use the same log to reproduce the customer scenario and see that what's going on. It's just like looking at the same movie they are watching to understand their issues better. So in a summary, logging all your actions in a test case is like having a detailed record of everything you did, so you can troubleshoot, fix problems, and assist customers more effectively. It's all about making software testing more precise and helpful. Moving on to the next point, screenshots and other visual captures can be saved during test execution for further use during failure analysis. Okay, imagine that you are a software tester responsible for testing a new mobile app. One of the test cases involves logging into the application. Now, during the testing process, you encounter an issue. The app crashes immediately after entering the login credentials. Now, here's how this statement relates to this scenario. While you are testing the login functionality, you take a screenshot or you record a video of the application's interface as you enter the login credentials and initiate the login process. Now you save this screenshot or video in real time as you perform the test. This can be done using various testing tools or simply taking a screenshot on your device. You don't just look at the screenshot or video right away, you save it for future reference. Now, since the app crashed during the test, you now have a saved visual capture of what the app screen looked like at the moment of the failure. Now, this visual capture can be used for further analysis. In this case, the screenshot or video provides concrete evidence of what the application displayed at the time of the crash. It may reveal error messages, unusual behavior, or other issues that caused the failure. So, and developers and testers, they can examine this visual capture to understand the problem and work on a solution. Next point is, whenever a test case encounters a failure, the TAS should make sure that all information needed to analyze the problem is available or stored, as well as any information regarding the continuation of testing, if applicable. Any associated crash dumps and stack traces should be saved by the TAS to a safe location. Also, any log files which could be overwritten, cyclic buffers are often used for log files on the SUT, should be copied to this location where they will be available for later analysis. Okay, so this point states that when a test case fails, it is important for the TAS to not only record the failure, but also to collect all the necessary information, including crash dumps, stack traces, and potentially overwritten log files to facilitate a comprehensive analysis of the problem. This thorough documentation, it ensures that issues can be effectively diagnosed and also resolved, and also the testing can continue efficiently. The next point is, use of color can help to distinguish different types of logged information. For example, errors in red, progress information in green. So this color coding approach, it enhances readability, it speeds up issue identification, and it also improves the user experience. Now let's have a look at the SUT logging, and to understand these points we will take a scenario as an example of an e-commerce website where you have implemented these logging practices. The first one is logging problem information. When the SUT identifies a problem, all necessary information needed to analyze the issue should be logged, including date and timestamps, source location of issue, error messages, etc. Okay, so let's say that considering our example, we have a situation where a customer reports an issue where they could not complete a purchase on your website. Now, when the issue occurs, your website logs detailed information including the date and time of the problem, the specific location in the code where the problem occurred, and also the error message. For example, payment processing failed due to a timeout error. Now, with this log, you can analyze what went wrong and why the customer could not complete the purchase. So this information is invaluable for debugging and resolving the issue promptly. Then the next point is logging user interactions. The SUT can log all user interaction directly via the available user interface, but also via network interfaces, etc. In this way, issues identified by customers can be analyzed properly and development can try to reproduce the problem. Okay, so now let's consider the situation where you receive multiple reports from customers about issues with their shopping carts, but they don't provide specific details. So your website logs all user interactions, including what items are added to shopping carts and how users navigate the site. So you capture the entire process and the sequence of actions taken. So thanks to these logs, when customers report issues, you can replay these interactions step by step. And this will help you understand exactly where and how the problem occurred, and you can reproduce it for investigation and then resolve it accordingly. Then the last point is logging configuration information at startup. At startup of the system, configuration information should be logged to a file consisting of the different software or firmware versions, configuration of the SUT, configuration of the operating system, etc. Okay, so for this one, let's consider a situation where your website undergoes regular updates and runs on a complex system with various software components. So at the startup of the system, you log key configuration information. This includes the versions of your website software and firmware, the configuration of your website, for example, enabled features or settings, the configuration of the operating system, and any other relevant setup details. So by logging all this information, you create a snapshot of your system's environment at a given moment. If any issues arises, then after updates or let's say changes, you have a reference point to check that what configurations or versions might have contributed to the problem. This helps you quickly identify and resolve issues related to specific setups or software versions. So in this example, these logging practices are very important in identifying and resolving issues on the e-commerce website. So they not only help in understanding the nature of the problems, but also in reproducing and analyzing issues reported by customers. Okay, so at the end here are some key points. All the different logging information should be easily searchable. Next one is a problem identified in the log file by the TAS should be easily identified in the log file of the SUT and vice versa, with or without additional tooling. And the third one is synchronizing various logs with the timestamp facilitates correlation of what occurred when an error was reported. So in summary, well-structured, searchable logs with synchronized timestamps makes it very easy to find and connect events. And it also ensures that issues are resolved quickly during software testing. We have now come to an end of section 5.3. In next session, we will start section 5.4. Till then, take care.